Hello, welcome back. For those of you who don't know, today it's all about creating and writing an adventure, and I thought mushrooms. Why not mushrooms? It's a dangerous topic I've found on my channel. We will always wind up heading in the direction of magic mushrooms, and magic mushrooms can suggest all sorts of different things, but it's also fun. So that's why I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll. And I will also be getting you to help participate in the whole process. I have brought a map. So my suggestion is make sure you have some food, some drink, make sure you're comfortable, and I'll get started in a second, okay? I can already see that Fred Huber and Nature Man are here. Welcome to the party, people. All right, let's get started, shall we? Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Weller, and today I want to talk about how to write an adventure. Let's do a mushroom cave adventure. For those of you who are aware of Super Mario Brothers, a lot of mushroom world stuff going on there. But we're going to take that idea and really take it to a different level. I suspect that this is going to wind up being one of my R-rated or R18 rated videos. Very, very quickly I can see it degenerating into that. I have a small map for you for today. I've put it up onto my Discord so you can actually see it, and we'll be working with that map, okay? Rather than redrawing maps, don't think I'm going to redraw maps. That's just not going to happen. I'm going to lead you through the process. I've tried to make sure this map is not too big, so there's not too many locations, so you don't get lost, or we're unable to finish it, and I wind up having to finish it in my own time when I have time, which is very, very rare sometimes. But let's at least get you started with this and head in the right direction. So first off, before I show you the map, what I would like to do is just give you a couple of prompts just to get you started, and then we'll go from there. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right. Let's see if I can do this the correct way. Is there a correct way? There probably is a correct way. I just got to find the correct way. Oh, there we go. This is the correct way. Okay, this is what we have. I'll be working on a Google document. I will show you the Google document later on, but we're just going to get you guys to sort of do your thing first. Anyway, let's start off with the prompt. Hashtag, what is the, concept of the mushroom Kevin or Kevins, and what else do we want to hear, and what is the threat? There's usually some sort of threat. That's how we create adventures, by going with a threat. So what is the threat? If there is any threat. There should be a threat. Fred Herbert, yes, you saw a lot of things going up onto Patreon in the last few hours. Yes, that's correct. Quite deliberate on my part. I'm taking the hat off. I'm trying to catch up on things, but I am nowhere near that. You're going to have to wait till I'm not working full time, which isn't actually that far off, before I can get things up. Because the problem is that every week I would have to put up about at least 3 different things every single week. Possibly 4. That's actually a lot of time. And I have to make sure that I at least finish to a point where they're like at least first draft. I just can't do that. I'm not full time. Okay, so that's our first thing we're going to deal with. Next, hashtag. So location. Give me the location number on the map that you want to fill out. Okay, location number. This is how we do it. And then describe the features. Describe the features. You don't have to do all of this. I can do some of this as well. Describe the features. Say noises. There's not really going to be furniture in this, but I'll put down furniture if you really want. furniture, environmental flora, I guess, in this case. Odor might be a big factor. Not odo, but odor. And then monsters, creatures, traps, hazards. What else do we need to have in here? NPCs, somebody to talk to, always nice. Maybe a puzzle, keep it simple. Lock and key puzzles are best. Puzzle, objects to actually pick up, objects, treasure. Okay. And I think that's the gist of all our bits and pieces that we would need for this. Okay, so let me just press this button. Dun dun dun. Now, let's remember, we don't have to always go into zombie mushroom stuff. Okay, myconids, I'm all for having myconids. A hag is a threat. So throw out your ideas. I'll start taking those ideas and putting them into the document. But what I would like you to do is I would like you to pick a location and have an idea for it. The central location, the central cave, I've started writing something for it. Okay, I will show you what it is in a second, but it's number 9. That's the central location. I'm assuming this location has, because of the mushroom pictures, that there's probably more mushrooms here. Now, just because some of the caves are just big locations that are open, okay, doesn't mean you can't put mushrooms there. It's just a basic structure. Does that make sense? Basic structure. That's what we're dealing with here. For those of you who want to know how to go about making up a map like this very quickly without too much effort, and you don't have to draw it, you don't have to think about it. I hate to say it, but you use geomorphs. And geomorphs is really an AI tool. It's just very randomized. The dirty word now is AI. But literally it's just a collection of geomorphs or pictures that you move around, tiles that you move around, till you kind of get what you want. And if you want to redraw it, you can, of course. Okay. I have some shriekers at 1 as an alarm system. Okay, so shriekers in 1 is an alarm system. So there are 3 entry points. Area 1, Area 2, and Area 3. There are entry points into the cave location. There might even be another entry point, a 4th entry point, because I'm going to put holes in Area 9. So the roof itself has got holes in it with water coming through. Okay, so I've already written a line for that. So there are essentially 4 ways in. Now you'll notice with the map, I've done this very, very deliberately. Multiple entryways, multiple exits. This gives your players as much agency or choice as possible. They have to choose which entry point they decide to go through. So it means that it's much more likely to play out differently. Hello, Oscar Gross, how are you? I would also like to point out that you'll notice that there are multiple routes to get anywhere. You don't have to take the same route. There are different routes that you can take. So it's all interlinked. So you have a choice. You don't have to, it's not a one-way linear adventure that we're dealing with here. Okay, that's the whole point behind these, is to give people as much choice and variation as possible, so the adventure will always play out differently. Okay, all right, let me take some of these ideas. I can see Area 1 has already sort of been lined up, and that's fine. All good with that. Okay, Shrieker's alarm system. We have Gross. Oscar Gross has already got sort of like a little bit of information there. We will take that and we will plonk that into here. And I'm going to just go like this, entrance. So a wall of lichen that mimics a moss wall. A wall of lichen that mimics a moss wall. I don't quite understand. Perception check to figure out that this is the entrance. I am a little lost. Okay, all right, let's see. So what I will do is I'll put here, I'm going to put this, I'll put some shriekers here, that's fine. Shrieker, Shrieker entrance. A few shriekers. In the middle of the entryway act as an alarm system. Okay, so I've got that down. That's fine. And then we'll take your entrance. A wall of lichen and moss. Lichen and moss. Moss covers the walls. So you're trying to hide the entrance. Well, I'm not really trying to hide the entrance. I'm deliberately making the entrance there. I don't want to hide the entrance, so we're going to get rid of that a little bit. Okay? But we're on our way. So we have area 1 with some stuff there. We've got a creature. We've got some shriekers. We've got a very basic, simple description of what we're dealing with here. And yeah, we're on our way. I need to go back a little bit because there were a bunch of ideas that people had put forward that I hadn't grabbed. Fred Huber, I have grabbed a lot of your ideas that you had put forward before the live stream started, so do not concern yourself. I do actually have them. And I'm going to call this called Mushroom Kevin. Mushroom Kevin is 9 for now until I can figure out something better. So what I have written down for the number 9 myself, which I did before I started this live stream, is a small trickle of blue glowing water falls through holes in the cave's roof, forming pools of water. Tiny green frogs, right, let's try frogs, that have mutated partly into mushrooms croak loudly, creating an echo. That's it. Now, if you want to put something else there in the center chamber, I'm all for it. I've just got you started. That's all I've done. Got you started. Hello, Pale Rider. Nice to have you. And zombie mushrooms, I'll take the idea and I'll put it down somewhere. People want yellow mold. They haven't stipulated where they want the yellow mold, but they have said yellow mold. The odd mushroom is in 7, is green and cubic. Okay. Fred Huber, let's take your idea for area 7. And we'll do that. Dum, dum, dum. So area 1, you'll see, is a bit bigger than the entryway for 1 is a lot bigger than the entryway for 2 and 3. And I'm assuming the entryway, if we had area 9 linked to a 4th exit point, then that's, or entryway potentially, that would probably be a little bit smaller. But I haven't sort of stipulated that completely, but let's just keep going with this. So 7, we've got some notes around that. We don't have everything we need on that, but that's all right. We'll get the rest of it sorted. That's there. Now, how many locations do we have? If I remember right, there aren't that many. There's about only 14. There's only 14 locations, so that's nothing to worry too much about, which is good. Okay, so, and I need to do a little question mark on that one, but we'll keep going. Next. Is this cave made onto a mushroom or a cave worth mushrooms? I don't understand, Pale Rider. Is this a cave made into a mushroom or a cave full of mushrooms? This cave location has got mushrooms in it. That's it. And so this means we have to... How is it possible to describe almost 14 different rooms that have various mushrooms in them in different ways and have them be interesting and different in some way? This is a real big ask and task. Think about it. If you have a theme and you're trying to stay with the theme, How many different ways can you describe that and still make it interesting, and it doesn't feel like you're dealing with another room full of fucking mushrooms? Let's get real. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. So that's the 10, nacho. Maybe a bulbous object the size of a cart clings to the wall and ceilings, glistening like a glob of jelly. A sting nest. A sturge nest erupts with sturges if players poke it. 10. So where is 10? Oh, I see. This is where we have the... there's actually two sort of... those are either holes. I think they are sort of deep recesses, like holes that you have to go down rather than up. I think that's what they're supposed to be. So there's two pits either side. So let's take this. And that's 10. Pits Cave, I guess. For now, I'll just call it the Pits Cave. I don't know what else to call it. Let's go here, paste. And we'll just write here a bulbous object the size of a cart clings to the wall and ceilings. Bulbous objects. Do you want more than one? Glistening. Okay. A bulbous object the size of a cart clings to the wall and ceiling. Okay. Glistening like a blob of jelly. Okay. A bulbous organic object. Okay. A cart. Poke it. So we've sturges. So the nest. So we need to just make sure we distinguish this bit. The nest erupts with sturges if the players attack it. It's with sturges if the players poke it, and swarm with them. Swarm and attack. Swarm and poke it and swarm. Okay, let's see. That's fine. Let's put not players but characters, because it's probably going to be... Yep, that's all right. 2 40-foot deep pits. Divide the cavern and I think that's got us 10 mostly. Okay, all right. I'm definitely falling behind. Whoa, look at this. People are moving along fast. You've got a lot of ideas. Wandering monster, a golem mushroom. Okay, so I'll take golem mushroom and I'll put it into the wandering monster area. There's a few things here that you guys have mentioned that I still haven't caught up to, but just keep doing your thing and I'll do my best to catch up, okay? Paste. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to just grab stuff faster. 5, where's 5? 5, I see it. A half-lit passage, a voice of a young woman cries, but it's a group of bridesmaid Zugamoy. Okay, I'm a little lost on that one, but we'll put that into 5. So that's that. And next, this smells like the cave smells like shit. Well, I mean, it could definitely smell like that. It could smell like poo. I wouldn't mind a cave system in a giant mushroom full of mushrooms. Well, wouldn't mind a cave system in a mushroom full of mushrooms. Okay. Let's see. Let's take this and put this up into the main features. We'll come back to it, okay? And, yeah. A mushroom, a cave system, and a mushroom full of mushrooms. Okay, right, 10. If the thing in 10 are mushrooms like the ones that grow on the tree, what? The things in 10 are mushrooms like the ones that grow on a tree. Okay, so I'm a little lost as to what you mean by 10, but I'm dropping it into 10. I'll come back to it. Not quite sure what we're dealing with there, but okay, that's all right. Let's keep going. 6, giant crab spider, 3 to 5. The spider are controlled by mushroom spores sprouting from their heads. Okay. All right, so you want to put crab spiders in here, giant crab spiders in 6, obviously. Let's do that. Where is 6? There is 6. Okay. Well, okay. Mushroom. So that's that one. And then Oscar said something about 6. This space is filled with eerie illumination. A drow's looking for his friend that came to the cave to find a fabled root. Okay, so we probably can't put those 2 things in there, but we'll take that. That might be able to go somewhere else. Why a drow? One of the things I've noticed is that there always seems to be a tendency. We have recurring themes I've noticed when we do these adventures. Liches, aboleth, drow, undead. Seems to be an ongoing thing. Yeah. Should make a mushroom effect random table if the players decide to eat one, making a con save. Failing them, rolling the table, you know the player is going to eat a mushroom. Yes, that's probably true. I'll take a note of this. If somebody has come up with it needs to be a simple table, 1 to 6 or even smaller. It needs to be a super simple table if we're going to do something like that. I don't want anything too complicated. Otherwise, it's just a drag. Okay, let's see. Let's keep going. Oops. Okay, am I got to the bottom? Pretty close to. Okay. All the creatures that the players encounter in this cave are covered with mushrooms and growing from their bodies. Maybe the mushrooms are controlling these creatures. 4. Fine. Okay. So that's really a feature of the cave system itself. There we go. Nacho's followed up with an idea to go with that. So let's take this idea. So we're going to have a lot of things that are sort of mushroom-like. All the creatures that the characters encounter. All the creatures in the cave. We don't have to worry about encounter. It's not important. All the creatures in the caves are covered with mushrooms growing from their bodies. And I'm all for the mushrooms are controlling them. Yep. Let's do that. The mushrooms are controlling these creatures. Okay. That's fine. We've got that in there. Number 2. Oscar's gone with entry 2. Here we go. This is guarded by 2 drow spore servant. One is the friend of a drow from 6. There are evidence of some moving in and out of the mushroom cave. Okay. Again, I would ask the question, why are we using drow? Because we haven't really established this. Is it just because you like drow? Do you think that drow are the only ones who hang around mushrooms? You know, things like that. Someone entry is guarded by two servants from area 6. Maybe. Okay, so that's really that little bit there. There's not much leading into it, so we'll just take it out unless I've got something established. A 1d6 random mushroom effect. There we go. Now we're talking. So what we'll do is we'll make this a not an area but a main feature. If they eat mushrooms, if a character eats mushrooms or fungus. Fungus. Okay. Roll a d6. d6. Roll d6 for random magical mushroom effects. Okay. All right. Here we go. And you've got your things there. And 1 euphoria, hallucinations, heightened senses, nausea, rapid growth, paranoia. Okay, we've got a few, haven't we? All right. I think it would be more fun not to have a saving throw. Honestly, I would say just don't worry about a saving throw. Roll a d6. 1 euphoria. 2 hallucinations. 3 heightened senses. We might have to build a bit more into this, but that's all right. I'm all right with that. 4 nausea. 5 is rapid growth. Rapid growth. 6 is paranoia. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. I got it. Phew. A little bit of work there, but we got there. If you contact any mushrooms with your skin, you instantly start sprouting mushrooms. You make wisdom checks to see if you lose control of any functions. Ooh, okay, there's a lot going on there. Okay. I'm going to drop this in here for now. Paste. And I'll put a little hashtag beside it. Hashtag. Okay. Right, next. 7. Area 7. I think we've got 7 has already been placed. 7, this place smells musky, but it's filled with flowers, but it's a trap. Hidden in the flowers, there are groups of yellow musk creepers, a plant monster. I think 7 is already... Okay, so we've got odd cubic mushrooms in 7, but you've actually gone into a lot more detail. I feel like I can incorporate both those ideas. Or we can put them somewhere else. I think maybe we can just put them somewhere else. It doesn't have to be in 7. It could be in area 14. We could just make that 14. So 7 becomes 14. I think that's good enough for me. So let's do that. And I will come back and deal with all of that in a second because there's a lot of things to readjust. Okay, next. Use mushroom zombies. Mushroom zombies. Okay, well, mushroom zombies are fine. But it's not like... You got to remember, it's not good enough to just go, oh, I'm going to stick mushroom zombies in this cave. What else is going on? Do you know what I mean? Mushroom golems, mushroom zombies, all very well, but again, the question is, what's going on? So you've got to think a little bit more about it. There's still time. Mushroom sprouting goblins, spore shooting guns. I don't quite know what we're going on here, but I'll just take a note of this for wandering monsters. Pardon me, bit of gas. How are we doing? We're doing pretty well. There's a lot going on here. I think it might be Underdark related. Is it really Underdark related? Do you know what I mean? One of the things you'll discover, Osiris, is every time I write these, I quite deliberately leave out things that are definitely IP of Wizards of the Coast. If it's IP of Wizards of the Coast, I tend to leave it out. The reason being is I have no intentions of doing anything with this on the Dungeon Master Guild. Okay, I have no intentions of doing that. It's going to go onto Patreon, so I tend to try to divorce as much of that sort of stuff from it as I possibly can. So the Underdark is, in its terminology, just the Underdark and Drow. I think even the word Drow is potentially copyright. I could call them Dark Elves. That's why I leave that sort of stuff alone, okay? Because I'm not writing for Wizards of the Coast. I'm writing for patrons, and I'm writing to show you how you can do it. So if you want to make it Drow, so this is why I have alarm bells when you say Underdark and you say Drow. Maybe this, so really, Drow would just wind up being something else. Anyway, let's go here. Let's keep going. I know it's easier to have a reference point if you're trying to run your game in a very sort of Dungeons and Dragons Forgotten Realms world. I get it. Hello, Derp's patron. Thanks for being here. Maybe we have some tension between Drow and Myconids. Now, Myconids is a good idea. I think we definitely want to have Myconids in here, but nobody's mentioned anything about what we would do with Myconids in a location like this. We haven't designated a location they might be in. We haven't sort of suggested how that might work. Myconids is a good idea, but we've got to have something around that. So I see a bunch of people left the live stream after I said, look, I'm going to stay away from copyright stuff. Should be blooming obvious, people. It really should be obvious. Are there any races that are immune to mushroom control? I don't know. Probably Myconids. Yes, I would imagine so. NPC. A Myconid paladin trying to free the creatures controlled by the mushrooms. Okay, that's fine. But where is he? What location am I putting this Myconid paladin? That's the question. A good idea, but I don't have anything else to sort of work with. Do I need to do an update for people so they know what's been done so far? We actually have done a reasonable amount. I just have to catch up on a lot of stuff. Also, maybe dwarves, because they have poison resistance, maybe as part of the stone, so it doesn't work the same on them. Okay. 9. Area 9. You've picked a location. This is the main area. In this space, a group of tribal warrior spore servants have set up camp, and they are infecting the drows and are also looking for roots. Okay. Okay, so Yeah. Okay, let's do this. That's that. 9. Next. I think you missed my dead adventurers in 7 directly above the mushroom. Oh, did I? Okay, all right. I'll go back and have a look. I'm just trying to catch up now. Table 1 to 6. 1, sneezing uncontrollably. 2, blindness. 1d10 turns. 3, infected with shroom like rot grubs. 4, bear skin is burned. Okay, so you've created a new table of your own. I'm going to just take this table now. Okay. All right, give me a second. I'm just trying to catch up with some of the... You guys have got a lot of stuff going on here, so... There's not that many people on the live stream, but cool blimey, am I having to move quick. Here we go. Mushroom controlled. That's that. Blast turns. That. Mushroom corrupt. At that. Damage. Something like that. Death. That. Okay. All right. So that's your table's down. 12 group of so. Miscellaneous. I'm not sure what that is, but okay. Let's put this under wandering monsters. And yeah, let's keep going. Make them dead from spore-spitting mushrooms. In 7. Drow dusk elves. Okay, instead of senior or fungal eaten-like creature. You want a fungal eaten-like creature. I like that idea. A fungal eaten-like creature. But is it really going to be a wandering monster? Is it something that doesn't just have a place where it hangs out? That would be my question. But I like the idea of a fungal eaten. Drow is SRD content and didn't know this went to Patreon. Yeah, it does go to Patreon. Also, it's hard to express ideas in this little text cap. No, I totally understand. But I'm also using the terms as shorthand. Yeah, so if we were using Drow, I would probably just say Dark Elves. If Drow is an SRD and it's also part of Creative Commons, then... but yeah. I try not to use too much of their stuff if I can. Anyway, Myconid is injured in 3 with the crab spider. You want to put an injured Myconid in 6 with the crab spiders. Okay, all right, let's do that. Okay, cool, got it. There's an elaborate alchemist's lab in one of the areas in the cave. Hello, Joe. How's it going, Overboard? Overboard is a moderator and also he's got a YouTube channel. Theron Hector is an invisible working on a mad concoction and experiments. Okay, there. So we've got something going on here. So many ideas. It's going to take me a little while to put it all together. I can see this now. Okay. All right. Keep going. Hello, Dungeons and Chronics. Myconids heard giant ants that are digging to enlarge the cave. A purple is on the ceiling. Oh, this is for 4. Area 4. Yep. Area 4. Sounds good to me. We can do that. Oh, so this is the Myconid Paladin that you were talking about. Okay, all right, now I see. Now I understand. But I am curious, why do you use What do you use for the creation of your Patreon content? And maybe we also get into the business action. So I won't go into too much about it, but really a lot of the stuff that you're seeing is first draft. May never go anywhere beyond that. So I try not to put anything in there that requires me to put anything other than you just copy and paste and use it yourself. Okay? That's in terms of Patreon. But if I were to take it and do something with it, I would have to dissect a lot of the stuff that might have copyright attached to it. If it ever is possible, I tend to try to dissect, because I can just call it a dark elf or a underground elf or something like that rather than drow. Do you know what I mean? That would be an example. If drow is under SRD or Creative Commons, then yes, I could potentially use it. But yeah, so that's where my head is at. And I'm already working with Wally DM on some of the stuff, but not everything I'm out. I think we've done 16 or 17 of these, and I think out of 16 or 17, he's selected one to start working on. But that's a long way off. We've got to do a lot of stuff with that. So yeah. Anyway, so area 4, which is not occupied right now, so we can put something there. And we'll put this idea in. Mike heard ants that are digging into the large purple mushrooms from the ceiling. I don't know what that decohedron mushroom is on the ceiling. Decohedron. Okay. All right. I know a spider disguised as a mushroom. Okay, so but where is it going to go, and which room is it going into, and what is that room sort of got going on? So a spider disguised as a mushroom sounds interesting, but like again, what else? What is going on there? So okay, so this is cut stuff and into 6. Paste. Okay, so, but he's been injured by crab spiders. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. Let's keep going. The fungal etin moves from place to place as it communicates with the myconids through spores and serves as a guard. They also spread the hallucinogenic spores in this area. So you're really wanting it to be a mobile creature. We've done this before where we've had a main villain that moves around. Maybe this is not a main villain, it's just something that just moves around. So this would not really be a wandering monster necessarily, would it? This might be something else. Okay, so you got to go. No problems. See you later, Pale Rider. I'll chat with you later. The creatures that are not affected by spores are undead, constructs, or elementals. Okay. I'm going to have to do an update for you guys so that you know what we've got here in terms of what has been done. Remember, I want you to stop. I want you to focus. I want you to focus on the room and what is there. Not just a creature, but what does the location, that cave location and area look like? Because primarily your senses is what you can see. If there's something they can smell, great, we'll deal with that. That's a clue for something else. If they can hear something, great, that's a clue for something else. But our primary thing that we're trying to aim for is what that environment is like, what's there that they can interact with, okay? One or more of the corridor-style rooms, they will be getting the ability to surprise their players and will try to poison webs. Because you guys, if you haven't figured it out, what we are building is a location-based adventure. If in any way you're trying to build an event-based adventure that's a bit more nebulous, I'm just going to dump it. And I'll explain to you why. Because it doesn't work. You can't build that and have it not come apart on you. This is a reason why older adventures were location-based. Newer adventures, the reason why they don't run well is, and why you have to do so much work on them, is because they often have all these little moving parts. Smells like compost. There we go. Now we've got it. That seems reasonable. Things smell like compost. So you have to think in terms of location. Then you can overlay events for your group, because every group that's playing something like this will have a different campaign. Every dungeon master who runs something like this would have a different thing going on. And if you try to build an adventure that is event-based, it looks different. It doesn't work around a map very well. It tends to be a flow chart. And flow charts, again, can come apart on you. This is why I don't build those sorts of adventures in a live stream. I've tried doing it before. It's a complete waste of time. So please, if you're thinking event-based, move away from that. Concentrate on the area, what that area is like, what you see, what you hear, what you smell, da-da-da-da, what's there to interact with, what treasures there, what creatures are there, what NPCs are there, what traps or hazards, things like that. Think in terms of that way. Think event-based. For those of you who have just run away and just discovered that that's what I'm doing, probably was a good idea, because you need to go somewhere, because you're never going to find another person who does that sort of thing in a live stream, because it can't be done. It can't be done. Yeah. I know that the new fandangled way of doing things is let's do everything that is event-based, but frankly, you're wasting your time. Poo golems that spits. Smells like compost. Okay, right, we've got to try to narrow this down. I've got so many notes here, little fragments of ideas that need to be built out. Okay. All right, okay. I'm going to do an update in a second if I get an opportunity to. There are so many little fragments of ideas that I'm trying to pull together, and I don't even have time to do that. I'm just copying down what you're putting out. So, so now this fungal etin that you're talking about, does it have a name? Because we've got a fungal etin but no name. You know, the first thing they're going to ask, the players are going to ask, is what's the name of the fungal etin that wanders around? Are they really going to attack it and kill it? Or are they going to try to befriend it? I think you'll find that there's a good chance they're going to try to talk to it if they can. Not every group will do that, but yeah, just something to consider. Poo golem that spits. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, there's so much going on here. Okay, there we go. Osiris is back on track. All right, 9. There we go. This is what I want to do. Number the thing and tell me what's there. That's what we're trying to aim for. Okay, all right, good, good, good. There's a reason why I create a map for these things. It's to help direct the live stream in terms of what we're doing. Does that make sense? And I'll research camp note fungus. There we go. Right, so we're going to take this, put this into 9. Otherwise, it turns into a great huge mess very, very quickly. Okay, all right. So we've got that in 9, and I think the poo golem is called. Oh, good lord. Nacho is a patron. Thanks, Nacho. I think Osiris is too, actually, now that I think about it. But, okay, so what am I doing with this? Paste. Called a poo golem called Floater. Oh, jeez. Kiwi humor. Here we go. The ground has a soft spots throughout. The players will learn to avoid these soft spots when stepping on these spots. It disturbs what lies below. Baby purple worms. Baby purple worms. Really? We seem to be dealing with everything else other than the actual areas that are on the map. We've gone off on a tangent. Main features, I've got little notes and parts of ideas. There's up to 9 different things going on here. We still haven't actually filled out our locations. Okay. All right. Because we've got to deal with, at some point, once we've established what the area is, we've got to establish what our adventure goals might be, or our hooks and stuff like that. Okay, let me go through and tell you what we have. Oh, God. All right. Okay, Joe. Okay, Joe. Here we go. Let me tell you, I'm going to stop looking at the chat for a second so I can at least update you on what we have, okay, to give you an idea. It's a horrendous mess right now. What we have is, it really is a horrendous mess right now. So if you were wondering how far we were going and how well it was turning out, it's not looking great, because we've got to get back into the mindset of we're dealing with a mushroom cave, deal with the location, not with all the other stuff. Anyway, here we go. So this is what we have. No hooks, we'll deal with them later. Wandering monsters, there's a lot of different things floating around wandering monsters. We'll pull it all together later. Main features, you can see there's so much stuff going on, so many ideas. Some of them are going to wind up dying, I can assure you now. Some of them will be combined, some of them will stay. Okay. Now, our area locations. We've got the Shrieker entrance. We started with a little bit on Area 2. Area 3 has not been done. Area 3 is another entryway into the actual cave. Okay. Area 4, we've got something going on here, but we don't really. There's giant ants and myconids herding them around. So this is a big location, Area 4. 5. We've got a little bit of information here, something about bridesmaids and a woman crying. 6 has got giant crab spiders and a myconid paladin who's injured and trying to free creatures from the mushroom control, blah-de-blah-de-blah. 7 is an odd mushroom in 7 that's green and cubic. We haven't got very far with that. 8 is unoccupied. There's nothing actually been put into 8. 9 is the big central cave. Okay, I've got a little bit of a description. We've got a little bit of information, something about an old research camp, and I think there's something else that somebody had put forward as well. 10 is like the pits cave. In the pits cave, we have a bulbous object, which is like the size of a cart, which is supposed to be basically a nest full of sturges. Okay, we've got that going on here. And something else which I put in, but I don't know what to do with right now. Area 11 has not been done. Area 12 has not been done. Area 13 has not been done. Area 14, we started this process, but I don't know what else. We've got a bunch of your notes in here, which are really just fragments of ideas right now. So it's really important that if you have an NPC, give it a name. Okay? Our myconid paladin probably needs to have a name. We also probably need to make sure that if we're going to have a fungal Essen wandering around, we probably want to give that a name as well. Okay, I've included a lot of your different ideas here. After that, there are just various different descriptions of locations with mushrooms. I was expecting a lot of you to struggle with the idea of how do I describe a location that has mushrooms in it a different way. So I preemptively expected that, so I have some things there, but they need to be shortened because they're way too waffly. Okay, so that's a rundown of what's going on here. All right, 13, 14, partially beautifully growing. Okay, there we go. Now he's on it. Here we go, Osiris. Okay, partially beautiful growing mushrooms with euphoric. So it'll be either 13 or 14. It won't be both. We'll just take one or the other. 13, because I think 13 has not been done. So let's go with that. Oh, I see. I see what you're doing here. So it actually might fit into 14. Okay, full stop. Let's do that. And it's called Cytopia. Okay, all right. All right, we've got a name for him now. I'm going to try really hard to catch up and sort of formulate this into a little bit more of something. I need to have lunch. No problem, Nacho. You go have lunch, mate. It's the shenanigans. I'm just trying to divert the shenanigans into something that will actually work. Room something filled with yellow mold. You want yellow mold in one of these rooms. Okay. Kind of identification check. So we're going to have to put one of these rooms is going to have yellow mold on it, clearly. That seems to be a thing. So we have area 3. I need a number. Area 3, yellow mold, probably not. I think sunlight's a problem for yellow mold. 8, area 8. Area 8 is a big, huge area. We could go with 13 having this stuff. Paste. So I've marked down your yellow mold is probably going to wind up being in area 13. Okay, next. A mushroom cave is a location where a fabled root is found, protected by a myconid society. So so Oscar is already going straight into adventure hooks. Okay, all right. Well, are we trying to get this done in an hour? Is this what's going on here? I feel is it just the excitement of the process? I'm not too sure. Anyway, let's keep going. Morale Death Sheet. Okay, so Morale Death Sheet is the myconid paladin, which we've got to find. The myconid paladin is in this location here. No, he's not there. He's somewhere else. Bugger me. Where are you? No, we've got that. Smells. Okay. Myconid paladin. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. Let's just do this. Okay, so we've got a name. Okay. The alchemist that lives here is developing a takeover of the city of Elithinia. He mental mushroom takeover is only the beginning. There is many different experiments labeled. Cool, blimey. I don't know where this leads. Is this an adventure hook or something else? I'm not too sure. I feel like you're trying to create an adventure hook, but it doesn't read like one. That's Joe. I've got it noted down. I just don't know what to do with it. I think that's what you're trying to do with this, but yeah. Okay. 5 shrine. 5. Where is 5? I can't even remember where 5 is. Did I number a 5? Where did I stick 5? Oh, there. A 5 might already be occupied. A shrine to a god of plague that may make it an offering to a plague negative effects. But cool. There's a lot going on there. Okay, let's just see. Let's see if 5 is something that needs anything in it. Is 5 already full of stuff? It might well be. 5, young woman. Okay. All right. So let's. Okay, let's see. We've got so much going on here. Let's catch up. Feeding the occasional, yeah, Fred Huber, I appreciate that. Hashtag. These areas aren't complete. And I will give you a list of them so you know what those numbers are, so you know what you could put somewhere. So area 3. We've got 3 is not done, which is an entranceway. We've got an entranceway that needs to still be done. We have area 8 that still needs to be done. We have 11 and 12 that have nothing there. And 12. And I think there was something else that somebody had put in one idea and it didn't go very far. But I can't find it right now, so I might not be able to say anything about it. So I will just put this information in so that you can see, you know, which areas need to be filled out. There we go. Oh my gosh. 12. 12 is a storage area, is it? Of myconid supplies, water, ales, wines, and such things. Is that fitting for myconids? Do myconids work that way? Dry, but there is mushrooms filled the area. So we've got two clashing ideas. One, it's myconid supplies, and then an area is a little dry, but there is mushrooms from the ceiling, and the area has half light from pools of liquid in the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your two ideas and I'm going to plonk them into different locations. I think that's what we'll do. We've got area 11 and we've got area 12 that need to be filled. So area 11, 11, 12. So area 11. And then 12. Cool. We're getting there. So we still got the entrance number 3 and area 8 that needs to be done. Whew. My gosh. Talk about a lot going on. Okay. And then Fred Huber, a nearby farmer, is complaining about something giant ants stealing his chickens. Oh, this is an adventure hook. Okay, so this is supposed to be an adventure hook. I see what this is supposed to do. Okay, so this is going up here. A nearby farmer is complaining about giant ants stealing his chickens. Giant ants stealing his chickens. And a trail of prints, I guess tracks, and tracks, and tracks, and odd print tracks, tracks lead back to a enormous hole-filled a mushroom. Okay, all right. I think I got the gist of what you were trying to do there. Okay, there it's done, mostly. Okay, 11. A fabled root is here. A fabled root is here, dropping from the ceiling. The floor is surrounded by mushrooms and spore floating in the air, but not the entry to the fabled root. Okay, so I'm going to take your 11, Oscar. I'm going to put it into 8. It's going into area 8. Area 8 is a very large area, so let's stick it there. And I see that Osiris has got 3 nailed down. Well done. We're back on track a little bit more. There we go. All right, cool. And you managed to include a fabled root into a place full of mushrooms, which I approve of. What do you got here? Yes, the alchemist theorem is working with Morel. He has given him a concoction that gives him the ability to heal constantly and the power of mind Mind mushroom touch. She created rideable ants for workers. What is going on? Okay, so we've got our locations mostly mapped out to a certain degree. There's still a bit of work to be done, but the gist of what needed to be there is there. So well done. I'm impressed. So let's just drop this in here. I've got myriads of ideas I have to try to pack together. Entrance 3, an entrance packed with stalagmites and stalactites 3, which is tight, making it hard to enter or leave. Difficult terrain and slashing damage related to dexterity saving throws. Okay, all right. Let's just do this. Area 3. Bum, bum, bum. Now, normally what I would do is I would go through and tidy up each location and give you a final sort of idea of what is going on before we would move on to adventure hooks. For those of you who have not been here for very long and need a little bit of help, okay, kind of getting the gist of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the document. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what we think is going on here. It's not necessarily set in concrete at this present time. And then we're going to go from there, okay? What are the adventure hooks that get the player characters to the huge mushroom cave? Kevin, like, how do we get them there? That is the question. You're drinking too much coffee? Okay, all right. So let me go back to the document so you can see what we have, and I will go through the document fairly quickly to give you a basic overview of what we have. Okay? And then we'll go from that point. Am I in the right place? Oh God, I hope so. Okay, here we go. So here is our Mushroom Cave adventure. We've got a bunch of adventure hooks. So far, I'm not going to go through those at this present time. It's not really that important. Okay, wandering monsters, again, not really important. Wandering monsters should be a reflection of what the creatures are or monsters that occupy the locations in the first place. If we have wandering monsters that never show up anywhere else in another location, it's kind of a wandering monster that makes no sense. You'll notice the yellow area. This indicates these things here are movable. They're not intended to stay. Okay, moving down. We have way too many things that are around the main features of this cave location, but we'll get back to that later. Okay, so I don't want to go over all of that because some of it's conflicting. Let's go into the location itself. Area 1, okay, has got shriekers. There's lichen, there's moss on the walls, there's some shriekers that act as an alarm system. So that's our first point of call. Okay. 2 is another entrance. It is guarded by 2 drow spore servants. Anything else really unimportant. We do not have a description for Area 2, the entranceway itself, which would be good, but I do have some that I can port across. It just takes a bit of time for me to sit down and make that happen. Next, 3. 3 is another entrance. This entrance is a little bit blocked in that it's got stalagmites and stalactites, making it difficult terrain to get through, and there's a chance of hurting yourself on the stalagmites or stalactites. Okay, so we've got some description and we've got a hazard going on. All right, Area 4. This Area 4 is got myconids herding giant ants and they're digging out the cave. And there's a purple decahedron mushroom on the ceiling, hanging from the ceiling. Okay, so we've got that. 5 has got a shrine to a god of plagues or something like that. We've got some sort of bride, a young woman crying out, but it's actually not a bride. It's not a human woman. It's actually fungi creatures, okay? A zygomoi, a bride of zygomoi. Next, 6, this area is got mushrooms and spores in it. There are giant crab spiders here that are controlled by those spores. There's also a myconid paladin trying to free creatures controlled by the mushrooms here, but he's got injured, and he's got a name, Morale, Death Shed. Area 7 is just odd mushroom, an odd mushroom that's green and cubic. We haven't gone into a lot of detail around that. That's kind of what we've got there. Next, and I think there was supposed to be, in 7, there was supposed to be a dead adventurer. God knows if I can even find the information on the dead adventurer. Fred, if you're still here, drop it in so that I can grab it. 8 is a fabled root. There's a root hanging from the ceiling. We've got spores floating in the air, things like that. 9 is the mushroom cavern. It's the main area on the map. We've got a hole in the roof, blue glowing water trickling through, forming pools of water. There are tiny green frogs, mutated partially by the mushrooms, croaking loudly. And we have an old research camp with notes and fungus growing here and blah, 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 blah. Something about frightened and deranged. I don't know what that's all about. I haven't been able to figure it out. 10, pit traps. Pit cave. There's a couple of pits in this area, but there's also a bulbous thing, organic object, which is a nest, a sturge nest that's sitting in here. Don't poke the nest. 11 is supposedly a storage area for the a myriad of supplies, food, water, ale, wine, stuff like that, and all infected with fungus. Okay. 12, this area is dry, but there are mushrooms on the ceiling that have sort of a half light from a pool of liquid. I don't know. There's something going on there. So there's a description going on. So we've got something in 12. 13, we've got yellow mold. That's really all we've got right there for that one. 14, particularly beautiful glowing mushrooms. Something else that sort of seems like it's a spider hiding in there. Yellow musk creeper. We've got a yellow musk creeper. So that's our locations. What we have not done is we haven't established a main. You know, most locations have something that dominates that area. And we haven't established that there's really like if we wanted a climax to our adventure, this adventure is not climactic. Okay? One of the things to realize is we still need to have a main feature, whether it's in area 9 or somewhere else, it doesn't matter, but there needs to be something that is really important in terms of what the players are interacting with. Whether it's a threat that they have to fight or to communicate with or stop or assist. Maybe it's just they just have to assist them. But there needs to be something that's climactic, and we don't have that. Okay, here we go. A great cave with glowing crystals. Okay, so that's for 11. All right, good one. So now that you've seen what I've got, you've got an idea of where we're heading. Again, I want to make it clear that we need a major threat. Adventures don't work well without a climax. There's got to be something else. Does that make sense? A cook needs 8 different colours of... Okay. A cook needs 8 different colours of mushroom to make a special dish for a religious holiday. That's clever. Fred Herbert, as an adventure hook, that's pretty clever. I like that. Let's do that. That could fit into anything. It doesn't matter what is going on in this mushroom cave complex that we have here. That would work. So, very good. I'm impressed. Should be, right? You're a bit of an expert at this by now. And Fred has been very, very quiet, letting you guys throw your ideas out there. I mean, you guys have pulled it all together pretty well, considering, you know, because we kind of got a little bit diverted and we started going off in different directions. And this can happen when you do things together, of course. A colleague wants to know where their researchers went. Okay, good. Osiris, let's grab this one. This is an adventure hook. So let's put that into there and paste it. Okay, and then 7, adventuring party killed by spores, shooting mushrooms, equipment the mushrooms could not eat remains. Okay, so that's fine. We'll take this. And that is going into 7, area 7. And paste. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, I've got that. And I think that's got most of that down. Okay, what's this? I put the coloured, strange-shaped mushroom idea in at the beginning for a reason. Ah, I see. Okay. I get it. All right, so I'm just going to go back and just see what else you have here, people, before I move on. Because there's so much information going through. I need to actually put a marker on the chat so that I know where I'm up to. Okay, there we go. And just make sure there was nothing that you guys dropped in that I missed, because there were so many ideas, many that were really good, some that I wasn't too sure what to do with, and others I just didn't even spot. So let's see if I can find them. Yep. That one. I got this one. A cave rumoured to have the most delicious carnivorous mushrooms on the continent. Okay. All right. I see this. This is an old idea that was way, way back. Hag should be a threat. You reckon there should be a hag as a threat in a location like this? This was what Nacho had suggested. But maybe it's not. Maybe we need to have like a Myconid sovereign. Or, heck, maybe we have Zigamoy as a threat. But it won't be called Zigamoy, it'll be called something like the Mushroom Queen. I mean, we can just call it the Mushroom Queen. That would be fine too, wouldn't it? So that's, let's see, this is, okay, so this is going into this section here. So we actually have quite a few ideas and bits and pieces, but there's a lot of work to be done to actually turn it to something that would be partially acceptable and readable. Okay. Wow. Nice. They need to destroy the alchemist laboratory, or the players need to create an anti-potion or something to stop all of this mind controlling. Okay. All right. That would make sense. Let's take this and see if I can drop this into our adventure hook section. So we've got 7 adventure hooks. Not all of them are going to survive, but we've got plenty to work with. Plenty to work with. And now it's the finer details and work. Rumoured. So that's that. Okay. Right. I'm going to grab some water. I'm going to put a lozenge in my mouth. And then we're going to try to refine a few of these things. We don't need any more immense, complicated things going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you another prompt question to help sort of bring this all together. Because of what we have here, we have a lot of different factions in a very small location, if you hadn't noticed. There's a lot of different factions. So this is the question I have for you. Hashtag, who or what is the main threat or conflict with in the mushroom caves? Okay, we have to establish that, because we have a lot of different factions, but we haven't established who's the main thing. Do you know what I mean? What's the main thing going on here? A Mushroom Queen sounds awesome. Maybe they'll try to raise the Mushroom Queen from her rest, trying to develop the right potion. Come. Maybe you can disturb. I mean, it would be more entertaining if they wind up going in here and disturbing the Mushroom Queen frankly. I think that would be more entertaining. That's in my box anyway. So this is the question I have. Based off all the different things that are going on here, who is the true major threat? With all adventures, it's around conflict. Your players need to have something to have a conflict with. And I mean, you know, players will always do things that are a bit surprising, like decide, I'm going to align myself with the main conflict. I'm going to help them. You know, I'm going to help them, but they don't need to. So yeah. What about the Moisture Maiden by the second in command, the Moisture Maiden? Hello, Steve C. How are you? I don't know what we're talking about here in terms of the Moisture Maiden. I think this goes back to, I think if you're saying Moisture Maiden, I get the distinct feeling we're talking about maybe the Bridesmaid. Maybe the Bridesmaid. Second in command. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to have to bring you over and start working on this. Mushroom alchemist is trying to make a potion to turn all mammals into mushrooms. Okay. All right, so let's do this. So if we had a mushroom queen, where would the mushroom queen be? Where would the mushroom queen be? And what would the mushroom queen look like? That's another big question. You're doing good, Steve? Cool. The Moisture Maiden helps keep the shrooms fertile. Okay. Oh, dear. Okay, so this is under notes and information that I have to pull together at some point. And paste. Okay. I think for a low-level group, she may not be in here yet, but definitely a high-level group have the queen waiting for them. Yep. Okay, now let's have a look at this poll here. 20 votes. Have you ever made a mushroom cave adventure? Yes, 35%. No, 45%. Just watching, 20%. Interesting. I'm going to leave that poll going. And I'm going to take us over to this document that I've been working on, since we've got about half an hour, roughly, before I have to go. We've got most of the mechanics, the information that we need for our adventure. Okay, the rest of it can be figured out. Now it's about tidying things up. And so that's what I'm going to do here, is I'm going to tidy and clean things up a little bit. And to do that, I'm going to have to start thinking in terms of, because we've got information, but we don't necessarily have a lot of, what is the first thing when you go to a location that you have to do as a dungeon master or game master? You need to describe the location in some way. Now, I'm not suggesting box text, but you need to have enough information in a broad stroke to give them what they need. So that's what we need to do here, without giving away anything, because the idea is not to give away stuff. We've got a lot of stuff that is just game master notes, essentially. So let's start off with down here. How I was talking about how many different ways can you describe a location that has got mushrooms in it? And is there any point in doing that? Unless there's something very, very different about it. So here we go. A canopy of ancient trees lies beneath a mushroom-filled caves. No. So a canopy of... Now we can put this in a large cave. We could do something like that. So canopy of ancient... of large ancient. So I almost feel like the labyrinth idea is a nice idea, but let's just get rid of this bit. canopy of large ancient mushrooms. Let's take this, take that out, cut it. A canopy of large ancient mushrooms. Creates a simple labyrinth. Paste labyrinth in this moist moist cave. Moist cave, and I think that's what we want to do. So we're going to take this mushroom. Okay, large mushrooms creates a simple labyrinth in this moist cave. Let's get rid of this. So we've got one sentence, and we need to put this in an area that's large and also fits with all the other things that we were doing. So let's take this one, because I kind of had an idea of what I was going to be doing when I started this, people. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to work through this bit by bit and take the areas that sort of work the best for whatever it is. So based off our little description that I just written for a location, where's a good place to stick that? We want a large location that would work. I'm going to suggest that something like that might actually work for area 4 or for area 8, because both they're very large areas. There's not much in terms of the map itself. There's not much actually sort of drawn out. So we can kind of describe that as such. As I said, again, the map itself is not necessarily hugely important in terms of what is actually in that map. As long as we don't have to fundamentally change its structure, we can stick whatever we want into a big open space. So 8 or 4 would potentially be a good place to go. I would say we've got myconids herding giant ants and digging into this large cave in a purple door. This area 4 would be pretty good. Area 8, the fabled root, that's something else going on. I think we go with this one where we have these myconids herding giant ants. Sorry, paste. Okay, here we go. And myconids are herding. Myconids are giant ants that are digging into the walls to enlarge the cave. A purple dodecahedron mushroom is hanging from the ceiling. So let's go with a group of myconids are herding. Okay, so that's we'll worry about that later. Okay, so now what are we calling this? It almost feels like a sort of like a bit of a forest, right? So let's go with in fact, we might just call this the mushroom labyrinth. Let's do that. That makes that stand out. So that's that one. So this is the sort of thing that I wind up doing usually behind closed doors or on Discord, okay, is going through each thing when you guys are part of this and breaking apart what has been missing and trying to form it into something that gives you enough to work with so you can get by with just a couple of sentences of text to get the job done. Because again, this is not about trying to write a Wizards of the Coast published adventure or even a published adventure. It's about trying to break it down into its essential bits and pieces. Does that make sense? Fred, can we add 2 NPCs who are vital to the story? Well, we have actually added 2 already. So you can. We actually have a Myconid paladin, and we have the fungal ent, or Trent, or whatever you want to call it. So we have names for them as well. So we're actually doing all right. We're actually doing pretty well. Let me just go through the chat here. Maiden, yes, we've got that. Maybe the queen is like an avatar. Yes, it could be, where she's connected via the spores throughout the cave. Okay, so I feel like the mushroom queen is a massive mushroom. The caves are inside. Oh, I see. They live inside the mushroom queen. Oh, that is clever. That's pretty clever. Okay. So, under main features. So this actually sort of takes on a different flavor, doesn't it? Quite a lot. A cave system in a giant mushroom full of mushrooms. Okay, a cave system and a giant mushroom full of mushrooms called the Room Queen. Mushroom Queen. That's very, very clever. So we've actually turned, this is what I like about this, is what he's essentially done is he's turned the location itself into a character. So now that we've got that, we need to have a little bit of information about the Mushroom Queen, who is the giant mushroom that these mushrooms are growing in, and this whole sort of ecosystem exists in. I think 9 would have a ritual circle to summon the Mushroom Queen, and various ritual components can be found there. Osiris, it was a great idea until Fred Huber said that the Mushroom Queen is the massive mushroom the cave is inside. So that, I think that's even better. So I think we're going to stick with that. But a ritual circle, summoning mushroom something, a mushroom avatar would be funny. That would be entertaining. Where we put it, we had a location with a shrine, and I almost feel like that would be a kind of a fairly entertaining place to stick it. Would be like area, I think that's area 5, isn't it? Area 5 is like got a shrine in it that we could use. It's not a big location though. Does it need to be a big location? Maybe it doesn't actually need to be a big location. But yeah, let's take that, and I want to drop that in there. Often what I do behind closed doors or on Discord, and I'm usually sort of in a video chat or a voice chat, is I'll take all these ideas and I'll start looking at where I can stick them once I've got everything, and break it apart that way. I did a huge mushroom adventure for Forgotten Realms back in the 90s, and all of the mushrooms were connected via a spore network. Well, I think that's a given. I think we definitely want a spore network of some kind. Because this mushroom queen is basically a big, huge mushroom full of holes and sort of being carved out, has actually got a probably able to communicate in some way to everybody, right? So I think we can definitely include that in some way. Where's it going to go though? That's the thing. There's so much stuff here. Man, I didn't realize that this was going to spawn so many ideas. You guys went absolutely crazy. Trying to keep up was just nuts. Okay. Then they explain why the notes seem to so deranged, because this demon god was reaching out to the placing random shape and color mushrooms in each room, like it did for 4 and 7. Yep, absolutely. Changing the shape of mushrooms would it be a good idea? Absolutely, I agree, Fred. That's one way of making sure everything is a little bit different than it was somewhere else. Yeah, look, Fred Huber's pretty good at this sort of stuff. But you guys are doing really well. You really are. There's so many ideas. I'm going to try hard to include as many as I can. It'll be absolutely nuts to run. But I've also got to make sure it's not going to be like too hard to run. It still needs to make sense. Place random shapes. Yes, we've got that. Yes, Fred has been practicing a long time. And he's also part of these live streams more often than not, along with Pale Rider. I had an underground version of the yellow musk creeper whose roots had spread out through the cavern like a nervous system. Okay. 80s. Oh, the two of you have been doing this for a while then. 8. Yeah. So maybe if this is the Mushroom Queen, it is basically a giant central thing, then the camp could be arranged around her. Yes, something like that. Can you add... We've done that. We've actually got 2 NPCs already. It's only got 14 locations. I don't want to add too many NPCs. You can always add NPCs, that's true. One of the things I've always found is players, and look, as a game master, if you're dealing with more than 2 NPCs, you're probably lost. One of the biggest risks that you suffer as a game master when you're building your adventure is if you have 2 NPCs and the players figure out how to get you to have one NPC talking to the other NPC, and you wind up talking to yourself. And then, of course, you've got to go onto medication. It's the worst thing that can happen to a game master, is suddenly to have their 2 NPCs having to talk to each other. So sometimes it's better to have an NPC that won't necessarily talk to another NPC, so you can separate them so that they're only talking to the player characters. Okay. The whole cavern being an enclosed environment could have evolved like that. Cavern like 200 years. Evolved. Yes. Cool. Vital NPCs, not just shrooms. The dude called Gratty Deed, former bard who wandered in during a bard shroom trip. Okay. Gratty. So look. We do, as I said, we do actually have NPCs in this adventure. So it's not the end of the world, because you do actually have 2. What we would need to do, though, is your fungal ent that's wandering around that has a name. What sort of motives? Like, we know what it looks like. We know what its name is. But what is its motive? Or does it have a personality trait? So one of the things that I've been discussing recently with a few people is, how much do you need to know? No, you don't have to be sorry, Steve. Don't be sorry. I'm just gonna keep throwing things out so you can see where we've been. There's a lot to know. I mean, I've been going at this for the last hour 40 with you guys. We need some flying things that act as symbiotes to the queen, like myconids. You want myconids? We do have sturges. There are sturges in area 10. There's a nest there. So sturges are probably been infected, and I think all the creatures here have probably been infected with the fungus and the spores and the mushrooms. So they're all connected in some way to the queen, more than likely. And the problem is, will the players wind up being connected to the queen as well? That might be a problem. Turning this from summoning Zingamoid to the players messing with and ruining the nature and unique environment. Dear. Better with shrooms. 7 NPCs and a conference with PCs is fun. I don't think that it is, but yeah. I've done that. I've done more than that, and that's not fun. Oh, maybe the plague shrine was new and was meant to kill the mushroom queen and corrupt her. Fungal ent. Motive. To be a herder for shrooms. Really? That's it? The tender of the shrooms. Okay. All right. It looks like we've decided that is that mushrooms. look, if we're going to have this mushroom in here, I want to have a location that he, she, it would generally be found. It would be a huge loss, in my opinion, to simply make the fungal ant just another wandering monster. I think that's a mistake. I think, if anything, what's going to wind up happening is I'm going to take that information about that mushroom ant, and I'm going to put it somewhere else so that it's doing something. Because right now it's not really doing something. Do you know what I mean? We need to give him a place. He can still wander, but we need to still give him a place. I think that's a good idea. You're throwing out ideas at this point. Wheeler didn't catch my Minoc Star Wars reference. No, I did. I saw the Minoc. I know what you mean by Minocs. Doctor approaching the mushroom here. He moves, making rounds. Yeah, he could move around. Look, just because you have a creature in one place doesn't mean you can't have it move around. Hello, Jeeves. How are you? How are you, Jeeves? Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. Okay, let me go back to this thing and let's grab another location. Okay, well, I'm just going to mark the stream here so I know where I've read up to. Okay, I know I'm there. So let's go back to our locations and how we can sort of flesh the little suckers out. Because like I said, I had a whole bunch of different descriptions for various locations, and we just need to work our way through these. So the entrance 2. Is entrance 2 important enough that we need to give it much information? Not sure. Entrance 3, we've got a bit of information. Let's go over and start looking at, now area 5 is starting to form itself into looking like it's gonna be a shrine of some kind. Fine, so we can leave that alone a little bit. Area 6 has got giant crab spiders, and we've got an NPC here, a Myconid paladin. We've got the crab spiders, but we don't have like a description of 6 and what is in 6 to work with. So that's going to be something I think we should work with right now, and I'm going to do that right now. So 6 is actually quite a large area. There is a stone. There's either a rock in the center of this cavern for area 6. So for those of you who are wondering what the hell am I talking about, there, area 6, it's on the left, and there's either a stone pillar or a big rock. And I think instead of a stone pillar, let's just do a big rock. That might be a bit more interesting. So there's a big rock in this location. It's area 6. A big rock is positioned in the center of the cavern. Now, that's just a basic description. Let's go down and do a little bit more with this. Because if we're going to keep describing cave locations that have mushrooms in them, we're going to have to figure out how to do that, right? So let's go down. Let's find another one. I've got a bunch of them here. Down, 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 down. In the depths of this these caverns, where stalagmites drip with moisture. So we had stalagmites dripping with moisture, but that's not the right place. Okay, so let's take this and go cut and take this bit here. And the air is thick with the earthen scent of fungus. Somebody was talking about like what sort of scent you would, now fungus is compost. Scent of fungus, or is it more like compost? Scent of decaying compost. Let's do compost, decaying compost. So let's go back to the stalagmites. We had some entryways that had a stalagmite. I think it was area 3. Yeah, here we go. So packed with stalagmites, stalactites, paste, dripping with moisture. moisture, making it harder to enter or leave. The stalagmites and stalactites are sharp and hazardous, creating difficult terrain. Okay, so full stop. And we'll move on to that bit. So we've got an entranceway. I don't know what to call this yet, but we'll come back to it. Okay, cool. All right, so how are we doing here? I wanted to go down and try and find another thing, didn't I? The big rock and 6. The big rock and 6. So that's what we want to do. And I think we're going to run out of time, but at least I will have done 2 to show you what I was my point. A subterranean world adorned with a myriad of mushrooms, their vibrant colours illuminating the darkness with like a natural mosaic. Okay, so 6. We could go the mosaic way. What else? Twisted passageways? No, that's not really what we're dealing with here. Delicate caps? No. Heart of the cave? No. Mushroom abundance? Network of? No. Okay. Mushrooms cling to every surface, transforming the rock walls into a living canvas of colour and texture. We might be able to do something like this. That's not so bad. Let's go there and go cut. And let's go back to 6. And paste. Rainbow coloured. Mushrooms cling to every surface, transforming the rock walls to every surface. Transforming the rock walls, ceiling, and ground into a living canvas let's go here. Color and texture. That is fine. Not the best. I would say it's a little heavy-handed in terms of it's a bit flowery for my tastes. I'm not a fan of flowery, frankly. So what can we call this? This is the mushrooms cling to every surface, transforming the rocky walls, ceiling, and ground into a living canvas of color and texture, into a living canvas. Okay, so let's see. This is not sure what to call it right now. I run out of ideas and I run out of time, so we'll have to come back to that some other time. So yeah, so I will chop my way through each one of these slowly but surely, taking bits and pieces and working out which bits will work where. For those of you who are wondering, like, how do you actually describe a cave different ways. And it's a mushroom cave. I don't think it's very easy. Do you know what I mean? really, you wind up with it just being like just fluff, rather than being honestly really, really useful. So I'd be very careful about how much information you present to your players when you're describing the cave areas. I would not get too carried away if I were you. Sounds like a doctor. Honestly, I would love to see this. It's just one section of the dungeon, and the herder tells them that a foul cult is trying to corrupt the Mushroom Queen. Well, you can do whatever you like with it if you want to. Really. You got to go. Wife's coming back. No problems. Steve, all good. More tasks for enslaving ants is turning compost heaps and gathering materials to compost. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's, yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't really considered that. But yeah, maybe it is. I'm just going to grab that anyway. I'm going to end this poll. We're finished for today. I didn't finish the adventure itself, but the basic elements are there. And it's just a matter of going through and working through all of the stuff, pulling all the different ideas, working out which ideas are going to work, which ideas won't work, and finishing up and actually turning it into something that you can use. Okay. When it goes up into Patreon, I would like to think it would be at the end of the week, but we'll see. I've got a lot of stuff to drop onto there, so we'll see how that works out. Anyway, we'll be back next week with a new map, and with that new map, we will be dealing with a new adventure to create. Okay, something else. Damp and spongy. Spongy's a good word. Spongy's a good word. Yep. And I suppose that's sort of a suggestion about how the cave walls work, is like the spongy and the soft. So next week, same day, same time, same bat channel, we'll be covering a different adventure, and that adventure map will be probably themed around something like a village or a town or a small location. I know it's very popular to do the city, but doing a city it's too big. There's too much going on. It's actually a bit much of a task to do, and I know that I won't be able to control the live stream and direct it in a decent way to try if I do it that way. So I'm not going to attempt to do that. But we can do that with a town or a village. It might be fun to do a town or a village that is sort of ruined or abandoned. I think that might be really interesting. We haven't done anything like that. Have a think about what you would like to do with that, because that's definitely a possibility. We could certainly consider that as an option and how that might work. And so huge thank you to everybody who took part today. I really do appreciate it. It's been a fun time. I always enjoy doing these. These are, even though they are difficult to get done, they are, yeah. City takes weeks to make. Yeah, that's the whole problem. I can't think of an easy, fast way to do a city adventure. So I don't think it's a good idea to tackle it. Not with an hour and a half or 2 hours to work with. It's just not enough time. So yes, we'll deal with something a little bit smaller. Smaller. Anyway, I know people have been talking about a dock or a village shoreline thing, like a fishing village. Maybe we'll do something like that. Something on a shoreline might be fun. Anyway, huge thank you to everybody who's been watching and listening and taking part. Thank you for taking part in the poll. I do appreciate it. It's always good when we get some feedback from people. Huge thank you to everybody who's been taking part in the chat, okay, and giving your ideas, whether they've been used or not used. Don't worry so much about that sort of thing. It is just to get the ideas out there. And thank you, Fred Huber, Osiris, Steve C, Jeeves, thanks for being here, Oscar Gross, really a lot of input from Oscar Gross and Osiris today. Really impressed. Thank you for doing so. I'm glad that you were involved, and I hope you had a good time as well. We also had Pale Rider here for a little while. if I remember right. Fred Hubert, of course, is always showing up and helping to direct things in a reasonable at a reasonable pace, so if people get sort of stuck. Overboard, Joe, thanks for hanging out with us as well and providing your feedback. We had Nacho Man here as well, giving his ideas, and I think that's everybody. I know Dungeons and Chronics and Derp, who's also a patron. I forgot about that. Really good to get your feedback and your ideas, and I'll do my very best to try to combine as many of those ideas as I possibly can. Maybe not everything, but I'll do my very best. Sometimes it doesn't work out that well. Sometimes there's too much going on and I've got to cut back. But anyway, huge success as far as I'm concerned. Really impressed by everybody's feedback. And so wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And yes, I will put it up onto Patreon when I get a chance to finish it. It will go up there, at least as a first draft. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.